how do you keep your pet hairs from getting on everything in your house?
I'm allergic to cats, and they're dark cats, and I have white counters.
People develop allergies that they did not have before.
My great grandmother, she lived in a kind of like a shack, and her house was just full of roaches.
Daniel would frame it as a health issue. You would be passive aggressive.
Yeah.
He would try to keep it to himself.
Okay, so let me switch it up on you then. What if it was roaches? Then what would you do?
Oh God.
The roach is out of the bag.
Yeah, I have no idea. I wouldn't if I had to stay there. No.
In roaches, you just got to be merciless with
destroy.
Yeah. So if it's roaches,
shoot to kill.
Yeah. If it's roaches, I guess.
What if the host acted like there was nothing wrong?
Yeah, he's a Buddhist. He wants all living organisms to live.
Like they're just walking around like cooking, and there's roaches on the stove and all that stuff. What would you do?
Gives the roach a little food to take home.
Oh God. No, I don't know. I've never run in that situation, but I think yes, there would be a conversation needed to be had by that time.
How would a person standard?
How would that conversation go? How would you handle it? How would you go about it?
Well, it'd be like, aren't you? Are you not seeing this? Like, what's going on right here? Like,
that's offensive. I would think.
No, I'm sorry. No, once you get to that level, I'm fully prejudiced against roaches, and like since I've had an incident,
but that's
racist.
I've had
like
stink bugs as well. So
the gloves are off practically. You're just like, I'm done being polite. I'm done.
You're talking about vermin, not about a cat.
Well, you could say a cat's a vermin, right? Like if you're so annoyed enough,
feral cats.
But if you're talking about a pet, then you're talking about someone's companion or something of that nature. So I'm going to be a little more cautious and polite with that. But when you're talking about roaches, or like I said, I've had an incident. I've had a bad experience with stink bugs as well. So I am completely like, I see them. You're done. I'm not. I mean, I see
the house
roach.
I stayed in first 2 years of college was just with stink bugs.
Well, I had an air conditioning unit in my room. And then one night I just kept hearing this noise, like just something just buzzing and then like just slamming itself. It was like bzzz, peck. And it's like, and I heard it a few times and what is this thing? Like just what are that sound? So I flip on my light and I kept hearing it. I heard it coming from my window. So I moved the curtains and they were on the curtains. They were like coming out of the air conditioning unit. I like yanked the air conditioning unit out. And they had just made a home or something in there. And I spent like, I spent like an hour, like just stamping them out in my room because then they had just started flying everywhere.
That sounds horrifying.
Yeah. So
pretty bad.
So like I try to leave creatures that are outside alone for the most part. Mm-hmm. But if you're a stink bug, I don't care. I care nothing about you.
But they stink when you kill them.
That's the problem. Yeah.
Yeah. But
those had to trap them and then flush them down the toilet or like throw them out the front door because you're just making your own place smell if you crush them.
Yeah. Oh, there was nothing I could. There was like I think I killed like 30 of them, so there's like too many to do and things like that. So like it smelled like that for a couple days. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, that reminds me. I was dating this girl and she lived in the basement of her dad's house. And one day, she called me, and I came over. And there was a swarm of either termites or flying ants.
Flying ants, probably.
Flying in her basement. And it was like a swarm of them.
Swarming ants is basically what they called, yeah.
Mm-hmm. It was crazy.
That happened one of my jobs that we it was a dining hall at that. And then we worked in the office of that dining hall. And just for some next thing we know, like the floor looked like it was moving because it was carpet. And it just looked like little things were moving, and then there was just swarming ants. They were flying all over the place. They had like come out of a crack or something like that. We had to get or not a termite, but exterminator. Exterminator to come and look. And he's like, they probably just hatched, and they were just coming out of the crack of the wall, and they were for like a few days, and it was like right behind where I sat.
Wow.
They were coming out of them. It was like hundreds or so of them.
So Paulo, how would you handle that situation?
I would be the meanest person out of the other two. I would try the normalize this approach though. What Daniel brought up earlier. If there were other people there, I convince the other people to probably say the same thing I'm saying. And when you have power in numbers, they seem to get convinced, right? But if you're the only one calling the issue or noticing the issue, it's really hard to be nice about it. I mean, like, I don't know, like you're in a family reunion and you're the only one who complains about the food type of deal, like it's annoying, right? But if your voice carries weight, you should probably speak out. Like currently right now, my wife and I have kids, and my kids are going to have some voice in the end. But if I'm feeling uncomfortable, I'm probably going to say something to my wife and my kids.
Right.
In that arrangement, if it was like my sister-in-law or I don't know, someone who I don't really want to disrespect, but I'm the only one who has that issue, I'll just let them know that I'm uncomfortable. And if they see me stay in one corner, to don't mind it because I'm uncomfortable, and they just need to know it. And it's gonna sound rude,
honest, it's direct, yeah.
But it's the only way. You're the only one.
There's virtue to that, yeah.
So
rip the Band-Aid off.
So say you went to one of your family members, like your brother's house, for a wedding, and you were there for a week, and your brother had a chinchilla or a llama or something, and there was hair everywhere. So you just say to your brother, "Hey, bro, I'm uncomfortable. This hair is in my face and in my nose all day, and it's making me uncomfortable." Or
well, it's an option. You rip the Band-Aid off and then deal with.
But I wouldn't. I like in the same vein as Keith, I wouldn't personally make that their problem. I would make it my problem. But just know that you're making me go through this. Just know that I have to do this to be comfortable because I am staying.
So
you
would have to clean or whatever to make.
Right. Well, I would sit in the same corner of the couch like Keith would, and just put up a fort or something. I don't know where the mask that you brought for that basement thing or something. But just know, you mean no disrespect. It's not your problem, it's my problem. So I'm trying to solve it myself, unless you're going to do it for me, I'll take care of it.
Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to get everybody's opinion on that. But anyway, that's Paulo.
That's Keith.
That's Daniel.
Roach Master.
Otis.
And we'll see you guys on our next drop.
Later.